Robert.
James.
Micah.
Tapan.
Daniel.
Yeah, television raised most of us. But I still learned it through just the way my dad treated my mom. More of a courteous way of treating her. And then as we got older, my sister was assaulted in that way, and that changed me because it was a boyfriend of hers that just really took it too far, and I was too young to do anything about it. So I was really angry at him, and I was angry at myself for being so young and not being able to do anything about it. So it's just one of those things where you just decide in your life that I'm not going to be that guy. So if she ever says no, if there's any hint that she's uncomfortable with this, I'm not doing it because I don't want to be labeled as that guy. Now, when you're with your friends, sometimes they're like, "Oh, you should have pressed it, you should have pushed it, you should have done this," and it's like, "No, I'm not you. That's rape, dude. I'm not doing that." So you might think it's cool and it's funny, but that's just not funny to me.
Like, I feel like it was brought up in sex ed. I don't remember how much, because when I think about sex ed now, I think more about the protection and just the information, like medical information, and I am pretty sure consent was definitely a part of that. And my parents probably talked a little bit about it, but I think they felt like they raised me well enough that they would probably just think that I just would respect a woman enough. But yeah, I would probably think that television or something, pop culture, where you first come across something you see where rape is involved and no meaning no, and like that's where like I feel like it really gets ingrained in you, like because they'll be able to really push it on TV and then make it like a big issue, and so you can really feel how important it is.
I don't ever really feel like I was taught consent. It feels like you should know right from wrong.
Right.
Some things you just feel
it's an
they're innate. Like you
Right.
feel
thing,
when you're doing
yeah.
something right and something wrong. Some people don't have that feeling. I don't know if it's mental or maybe you do need to be taught how to feel that way. But I can't remember ever being taught if she says no, listen to her like duh, like duh,
Yeah.
But
Makes sense.
yeah, so I don't ever remember blatantly taught that. I just feel like I've always known like it's fucking common sense, but obviously it's not. So that's what trips me out. Like
Yeah.
that's what I can't grasp. Maybe I'm not supposed to grasp because it's crazy, but it's very simple to me. Very simple.
Yeah, it does seem intuitive. It does seem like it probably did come from, family, television. It's how we learn everything. It's how we were brought up. But yeah, it just seems like when you just, I think somebody made an analogy to like a cup of tea. Like, do you want a cup of tea? No. Well, I'm not going to force you to have a cup of tea. Like, that's just crazy. It just doesn't make any sense. Oh, but it'll feel really great for me if you had this cup of tea. Like, that's just an absurd idea.
That's so weird.
It's just a weird, that's such a strange.
Yeah.
So it just makes sense, but yeah, I don't want to discount the fact that I'm sure I watched, maybe it's probably something on Saved by the Bell or something like in sex ed or.
That rape episode was really good.
No. I mean, it's like these subtle things just teach you kind of without you realizing it. Like,
For
just,
sure, though, for sure.
yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
As men, do you ever experience the other end of consent? Like I hear a lot of talking about respecting women's consent, but what about vice versa? Do you guys ever feel any violation on your consent or any difficulty expressing your boundaries of consent or having any issues with that with females?
I used to. Yeah. I was kind of a prude when I was younger, and so I think that for the most part, women can get away with anything. It's not like they're going to. I don't think that would stand up very much in court to say I was raped by this woman unless she was really strong.
He kind of knows if he didn't want to, he wouldn't have. And a woman, I guess, feels a little more vulnerable or taken advantage of. When it's definitely possible for the man to be taken advantage of, but I don't know if this sounds sexist. You're there, you're.
You don't have to be up and ready for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Well, I mean, there are methods that they do to get you up and ready for it without your consent.
That's true.
But I mean, I think that even then, everything is just so skewed I probably should have framed that a
But
little
like
better,
that-
but hey, yeah, it's true.
Well, like,
Look it up.
Physically, I could just be like, not right now.
Right.
And then leave.
Mhm.
And then you don't get raped. And then she's just a hoss. Like,
But I guess it just seems less predatory when there's a woman initiating it toward a
Right.
man, because it seems more celebrated. When they go, oh yeah, oh she wanted you, you know, and it's like, nah, if he didn't want to do it, he didn't want to do it. And it doesn't make him weak if he doesn't want to do that. And we're seeing that a lot now in the news, where we have a lot of teachers taking advantage of their male students. And they're not getting the same type of crime. They're not getting the same type of penalty for this crime if it were a male student doing it to
That's
their
a good
female.
point.
I mean,
Yeah.
a male teacher doing it to a female student.
I think the biggest difficulty with assumption is when they assume that a guy is going to need to be educated about, say, consent, and that they want to be chaste, but they're willing to say no, and then still get mad if you don't continue to pursue them. Because there's there's sort of two separate things, as far as there's a very clear thing about what consent is, and then there's also the nature of a lot of females just like to be chaste, so they just assume you're going to do that, even if they have sort of said, like, I don't do the following thing. If you listen, then you might make them mad.
Right. And it varies. One girl will say one thing and the next will say the next, so then you're just stuck in this vicious cycle of trying to know what to do, and you're just on the offbeat every time. Damn, wrong one. Damn.
Should have tried that with the
last
last
one.
one.
Now
Yeah,
I'm
I
off
did,
rhythm,
but
so
now,
my rhythm's already
now I didn't
off.
do it. See it now. Now I don't know what to
No,
do.
for sure though. Yeah. Love the chase.
I always just steer towards, like, well, no means no, and then even if the girl is like, well, no sometimes doesn't mean no, then I'm like, I don't care.
Supposed to
No,
send
for
five,
me,
so
no
I'm
means
like,
no.
yeah.
We're taught
You're
no
on
means
the same
no,
side.
so it's like, how many no's are we supposed to take? This is like a telemarketer game where you're saying, oh, you're supposed to go for 3 no's, and then you don't take the date, or what is it? What are we supposed to do?
The last 3 phone numbers that I got out and about and really felt good about, they approached me like, oh, she's kind of looking at me, bro. She came up to me, I wanted to meet you. I was like, this is cool. I'm
Yeah.
pretty excited. I'm actually excited about this one. Exchanged information, no responses when I call or text back. All my messages are blue as hell. I even, one of them I was so excited about, he's like, I'm gonna call her. And if she doesn't answer, I'm gonna leave a voicemail, because I was gonna be old school and try and be
Right.
a man about
Gonna
it.
reach out,
Just
yeah.
like a long ass voicemail, no response, another text.
Rick,
And then,
how'd you feel after that?
I was hurt. I was like, what's the point?
Felt kind of empty?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh,
See.
And it was all her fault.
No, but it's funny because, I think the key isn't that there are expectations, it's that everyone has different expectations, right? If you knew kind of like how to act, how, or whatever, like what version of yourself to project, that, I think it used to be like that, but now, girl to girl, I know one girl got mad at me for not ordering for her, Like, I thought we were ordering 2 appetizers, I was like, it just made sense, I'll pick one, you pick one. And we studied the menu for like an hour, and she got kind of visibly angry that I didn't just order one for her,
Especially
Whereas
in
some girls,
LA, when everybody has different
yeah,
dietary
that's like,
restrictions.
I thought I was,
You might
being
have
a
poisoned
nice
somebody.
person. Yeah. But that's a very small example, but I think it's reflective of the fact that, and it goes for everything, opening doors, is that chivalrous or sexist? It just
Right.
depends
It's a fine
on how, how they perceive it. So you gotta.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Learn.
That's definitely a good point, because I found a lot of times that when I'm trying to beat the chivalrous, the respectful thing, and then normally it does work in my favor. People are appreciative of that, especially I find some people don't receive that from a lot of guys, and so they actually appreciate that, but also sometimes like, no, I've got this. Like, I don't want you thinking that you have to do everything for me, and so yeah, there definitely is a fine line with that, but it's. But yeah, once you kind of figure out with that person, it's kind of easy to pursue from that point on.
I mean, I think it's interesting that you guys bring that up, like the chivalrous and being what version of yourself do you present? Because being in this town can shape how you think the women want you to approach them. So It's not our fault. Is basically what I'm saying. We're trying out here.
It's hard. It's such a career-driven town, and being
Yes.
where I'm at and my age and everything. I haven't met a whole lot of women that are willing to take my journey with me. They want me to be there already.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
jump
they
on,
do.
Which is
They do.
That's cool. I could have been there, and I'll bring you on.
Right.
But I'm not there yet, and it's hard to meet somebody willing to take that journey with me.
Somebody that kind of believed in the
Yeah,
potential.
have some
that
faith
you
in the
have.
potential. Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
how
that's
can
the
you-
big
that's an
picture.
LA
move
thing, that's an
forward
LA
as
thing.
opposed
Right.
to like,
Yeah.
I'm not like looking to learn about this person. It's like, oh, how can this person be advantageous in,
Oh,
me,
yeah.
in my career?
Like
You know,
I
it's
heard
like, is this person going to look good next to me in this town where like branding is a big thing?
Branding.
You know? It's
There
like-
it is. Yep.
It's a lot of women's biggest fear is to be poor or broke, and I get it.
Sure.
LA's a beast, but
Well, like, and yeah, and a generation ago, if you were 30, you probably were set on your career. But now,
it's different.
with the way college is, the way, you know, how many college degrees there are, it's taking all of us a lot longer to get to where we are. And also with more options and, you know, the idea that you can switch careers so many times. You know, I think there's an expectation that if you're 30, like you're already got your life figured out. But that's not the way the world is now.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm in med school right now, but I'm acting and I'm writing and doing other things, and it's like they're all kind of going concurrently. But like, you know, I'm not settled down by any means, and I think that sometimes, you know, women or men can expect each other to already kind of have their life figured out by now. But it's a journey, like you said.
It's a good point, because I have some friends that are a little bit older, and the interesting thing with them in their sort of online ideal is that they think that divorced, no kids is the ideal, as opposed to, because they assume that once a guy gets to a certain age, that it's like no longer cute that he hasn't been married. It now is a problem. He clearly has a psychosis that he's never been married. And so, you know, they're like, for them, they're just like, single, never married, no kids, no thanks. But divorced, no kids, that's like perfect. So that's kind of an expectation on, you know, we're not there yet for age, but that's coming.
Yeah, it shows that
That's
that this
interesting.
person will,
That's
you know, is ready to commit, and it could be like, hey, it probably might not have been his fault. You know, maybe he just hasn't met the right woman yet. You know.
That's interesting you say that, because I am divorced, and I don't see any different type of reception as far as being divorced or anything like that. It's just some bullshit. Like I said, I mean, like all these guys are saying, the ladies really expect us to be at a certain level, regardless of where they are in their life. They want us to be here. Oh, I need him to be here. They have this whole list that we're supposed to check
I'll
off.
let her have some stuff going on of her own.
But it's like, how many things off of my list are you checking off of my list? You know, really? Are we gonna go tit for tat like that? I'm like, why can't I just like you like me, and we work it out from there?
Right.
Instead of you, well, what kind of car you drive, where you live. You know, so if I live in South LA, it's different than me living in the Valley. I'm still the same nice guy. I'm still going to treat you the way you need to be treated.
Yeah, now LA gives you the opportunity to meet a lot of different people from a lot of different cultures and a lot of different experiences. But at the same time, I think a lot of people think that that other person could be out there. Like, I'm driving with this person, but like, what about that? Like, that other person might be out there that's got this that this person doesn't have.
I
And
did
so
hear
it's like
somebody
the grass
talk
is
about
always
that.
greener type situation.
Right.
Like,
I heard somebody call it the BBD, the bigger, better deal.
Mhm.
Like they're always waiting for the next sale, the next Red Apple sale to happen so they can buy the new product and then push this thing to the back of the closet, and where that thing being pushed to the
I
back of the
honestly
closet.
think I get Googled when I meet people. And if my things don't pop up, I don't get hit back. That's how crazy this town has made me. Like, oh, she probably just Googled me and then I have enough hits, and then she probably, the next
You
big
don't
thing.
have enough
like,
followers,
Yeah,
right?
enough
No,
followers.
no.
It's
That's
crazy.
true. I heard a
And
girl
then
actually say, if
it's just a
somebody
head
doesn't
thing.
have if somebody has less than 2,500 Twitter followers, I don't think they're a real person.
I'm out.
yeah, I don't even have.
I'm out. I'm out there.
Take this mic off.
Whatever, man.